Everyone to an episode of the Chamber Podcast. Today I'm very thrilled to be with Sabine Dulcio from Dulcio Floral and Design. And we're gonna have like the pleasure to dive deeper into our journey, into our challenges and successes. So, Sabine, I'm so happy to have you today. Welcome again.
Thank you.
And how you doing?
I'm
How have you
great.
been?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. Just coming off a very relaxing summer into our peak season in the event industry. Once fall begins, it's our active season. So, gearing up for a lot of events, a lot of networking sessions. So, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for having me.
And a successful year, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, Sabine, tell us more about your entrepreneurial journey. When did you decide that you wanted to be an entrepreneur? And how long have you been doing this business as Dulcio Floral and Design?
Entrepreneurship has always been within my grasp, per se. I watched my mother growing up do different entrepreneurial pursuits. Then with the Haiti, when we were in Haiti, she would travel to the DR, to the United States to do what was then called commerce,
Mm-hmm.
And then when we migrated here to live as a family, aside from her having her regular job, I also saw her doing other entrepreneurial things. So it wasn't what I was told I would be growing up. I was supposed to be a doctor.
Yes, as all
As
Asian
all of us
parents.
were. I was a pre-med major in college. And then after having my son 18 years ago,
Mhm,
I needed to supplement my income.
mhm.
And I had just planned my best friend's wedding, and we were getting rave reviews about her wedding and her engagement party. And people were like, well, you could do this as a business, something I never even fathomed, right? I was just supporting my best friend.
Yeah.
And so as time passed, I said, well, let's pursue this. Let's see what we can do. So I created a little email, sent it out to all of my friends, sent a long text message to the people that were in my network and said, this is what I'm doing. This is the name of my business. If you have anyone who is having a small event, I would love the opportunity to create a design or plan for them.
Hmm.
And to my surprise, I received a lot of support from family, from friends, from coworkers. And that's really how Dulcio started.
So, what were you doing before? Were you like in the medical industry?
So after getting my degree, I was in the government sector.
Mhm.
I was a senior level executive for a government, quasi government organization
Mhm.
where we did community building, funding. We worked with legislators on the Hill to support legislation for children and families. Locally, we partnered with a lot of the larger organizations that support families in the community. So I was one of the directors. And so that really led to a lot of my knowledge and passion around organizational structure. And that helped me as a business person to understand, I tell people I'm an artist at heart, right?
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm a businesswoman because I have that background. I understand audits. I understand having budgets. I understand having annual and quarterly goals. I understand the importance of networking and engaging with people, not just within my niche, but also out of my niche and building that community of network. So that's really how I've, not just within my business, but I also coach a lot of other businesses.
Hmm.
And when they come to me, they're thinking, oh, I'm just going to learn about the pretty part of the business. I said, no, before you get to the pretty part, we have to get to the dirty part, which
Hmm.
is the administrative back end of your business. What does that look like? Are you paying attention to that?
Hmm.
Has anyone even talked to you about what that looks like? And I think as small businesses,
Yeah.
quote unquote, right? Small businesses, we don't think about those things on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis in order for us to really make our business sustainable or even be able to scale, right?
Mhm.
The name Scale Up 305. A lot of us get to a point where it's like, what's next? You can't think of what's next if you aren't ready
Yeah.
for what's next.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you had that good background in government, and then you decide to just leave your job, and then you're gonna start this new journey in doing like planning and floral for bit for like the community. So explain to us the process.
Yeah.
Um how was like, I don't know, your family took that decision for you to leave something stable
Yeah.
to go full time into your business,
Right.
and what were like the main roadblocks or challenges that you had to face?
Right. It wasn't an easy decision. It was the peak of COVID. And I've always tell people, and even till this day, um, people are like, "Oh my God, you left that company? You said you'd never leave." I loved the
How long
company
did
I
you
worked
stay
for.
there?
I was there for 15 years.
Wow.
I was there
Yes.
for 15 years, and I loved what they did. I loved how they supported the company. I loved what they were about.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the impact that I had on the community. And I was working with different types of communities. And so when I decided to leave, it was truly, honestly, a selfish decision. It was for my children. My son was the reason I started my business.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is the reason my business is scaling,
Wow.
you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I have, my husband and I are middle school sweethearts. We've been together since we were in middle school. And he has supported every decision that I
Mm-hmm.
have made as it relates to my business.
Mm-hmm.
He's also my, I guess you can say, my quote unquote financial advisor because he has a finance background.
All right.
And so our decisions aren't like light ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're both very driven individuals who, when we say we're going to do something, it's heads on.
Mm-hmm. So did you have
So
like some type of safety net already for you to take like the leap, or?
So, yes and no. When I made the decision, like I said, it was in the middle of COVID. We were working in the business. You would think COVID, everything shut down. No, almost every day we were doing events. Yes, it was a shocking surprise, but it was a great surprise
Mm-hmm.
because that allowed me to build a
Mm-hmm.
safety net to leave. And not only that, because I had a partner that was supportive, because I had a partner that was willing to say, "I believe in your business. I've seen how successful you have been."
Mm-hmm.
And we were joking. I would say it was January of that same year. I left in October, and I had done an event for Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, and we were working with a larger
That a
corporation.
celebrity
Yes,
event, just like
yes.
when you started?
Well, my company had already been in existence for a while, right?
Okay.
Because my son is 18
Mm-hmm.
and I started it when he was 3 months old. So my company's been around for a while. It's just I
Okay.
was doing it kind of like on a part-time
All right. So
basis.
when you were still working for the government, you were doing
Correct.
it on a part time. So you
Correct.
took like the decision to quit your
And go
job
full
and
on
go full on during COVID, like
during COVID.
2020.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a hard decision, but one that I knew in my heart that God was telling me it's
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think in the middle of COVID, it's time to leave security,
Exactly.
a beautiful salary, great benefits,
Mm-hmm.
to go into this. Really, entrepreneurship is a world of unknown,
Yeah, and a lot
right?
of risk.
For a lot of risk. But I truly believed in my capability of what I can do
Mm-hmm.
and how I could build my brand
Yeah.
and my business.
All right. So because you took the time, to do it part time for a few years, so when you left, you didn't really have like funding issue, or did you still have funding issue probably at the beginning? And what was available for you as a Black owner of a business, as a woman? What was available for you to help you, fund your business?
So one of my biggest misconceptions the entire time before I left was that, oh, I'm a floral business or I'm a planning business. I'll never qualify for grants. I'll never qualify for government contracts. Boy, was I wrong. So I started researching, which is how I learned about HACCOF. That and through one of my great friends, Dr. Jidlin Charles. She was like, there's a lot of funding out there for small businesses,
Absolutely.
especially now during COVID. I'm a very risk averse type of person.
You don't sound like it.
I know, right? Because I jumped right in. I'm risk averse in the sense that I question all of the parameters before I jump in, right? And so I started researching. Okay, what is a grant? Well, I knew it was a grant because I come from the funding world, but I needed to understand it from a for-profit lens because I understood it from a non-for-profit lens.
Got it.
Right? So when you're a for-profit business, you're thinking people aren't just going to give me money to do what I do, to build this little business. So I started engaging with a lot of different state organizations, state funders. I became part of a cohort locally, the SBA cohort, started working with them and understanding that I am a business. I am not a little business. I am not a small, no, I am a business. And therefore, I need to prepare my house financially, administratively, understand what my KPIs are, understand how I can achieve these goals in order to begin to receive funding.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the great things about Scale Up, about HACCOF, is the arm that supports small businesses. It's great that they support you in achieving these grants and these goals, but they also help you begin to go through these webinars and understand how to read an audit, how to engage with different funders. AI is really big right now.
Absolutely.
How does AI play a part in helping me grow this business, right? And helping me run my day-to-day in business. People are scared of AI to some degree because of some of the misconceptions.
Yeah, because it's the unknown also.
Unknown, right? But we have to do our due diligence as small business to continuously educate ourselves. And that's one of the things that I'm always researching. I'm always learning. You're never too big or too small to learn.
Absolutely. That's perfect. And that is why we have the whole coaching program,
Exactly.
the training, the monthly webinars, and people that come and benefit from them, they see the difference in their business, in the knowledge that they get, the skills, the contact also.
Yes.
And it's like you never know what you don't know until you finally made it to one of those conversation, training and all.
And there's always something to be learned.
Absolutely. Yes. So I wanted to understand. So for you, you didn't have the funding issue when you were starting. What was for you the most difficult thing?
The most difficult thing for me is networking.
Was it easy to find clients?
That networking part, networking and marketing. Two pieces I'm still working on to this day.
All right.
It's a continuous effort, right? Networking, because while I'm someone who is outspoken and I like to put myself out there, but when you get to this level, you have to network one-on-one, right? And people tell you, oh, have your elevator pitch ready. My elevator pitch was on point. What wasn't ready was me understanding how I can be a benefit to this organization, right? It wasn't just me making my pitch. It was about asking different corporations, asking different people, when you look at your goals or when you look at a goal around this at the end, how can I be a benefit to that? Or how can I impact that? Right?
I just want us to go back a little bit. Can you please tell the audience what exactly that you do? Because we talked about events, we talk about floral.
Right.
So I want you to explain to them. So if they need you, they know exactly what they will be asking you.
Okay. So what I'm well known for is my event design and florals. So we are an event floral company. We do not have a storefront where you can walk in and buy flowers. We are an event floral company, meaning we do large installations and small installations, dinner parties, for individuals privately,
Mm-hmm.
as well as for corporate um, clients.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, our corporate arm, we provide um, event planning, logistics for conferences, for trade shows, for galas, for large events that they are having.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I tell people when they come to me for private events, we make your event pretty, is what we do.
All
And when my
righty.
corporate clients come to me, we make your events run smoothly from A through Z.
All righty. Okay. Got it. So, what would you say? Wait, I forgot my questions.
One of
Would
your
you move
questions was
that?
about marketing.
Yes, you were saying that the second thing is like marketing. Let me just
Yes.
rebounce for you so you can say that. Okay. So now tell me about like you were saying that one of your main issue was like marketing, and I feel like a lot of people are
Yeah.
saying that.
Yeah.
So how did you go about it? Did you subcontract it? Did you find somebody else to help you on Fiverr? What is like your secret sauce finally to make your marketing work?
So now it's contracted.
Mm-hmm.
Before I thought I was doing it, but what I was doing was promotion and not marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if you check me out on any of my social media handles, Dulcio Designs, we have pretty large audiences on
Mm-hmm.
all platforms. And in my head, that was marketing. People know our brand, but were people buying from our brand?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you need to convert
Correct.
like this
Convert them
audience.
to
Mm-hmm.
by paying clients.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my mentors recently told me 15% of my annual budget needs to go to marketing. I was flabbergasted.
15 or 50?
15%. 15.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I was shocked because I was barely putting 5% into
Mm-hmm.
marketing, right? And so when you think about marketing, now I know when you think about marketing, marketing happens instinctively, like without you even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And now my marketing is running like that in different avenues, different places, through subcontracted. I've realized I can't do everything for my company. That was another hard lesson.
Yes.
um,
Talking about that, or you like, do you have partners, or are you the sole owner
so
of the
I'm a sole
company?
owner.
Mm-hmm.
I have a staff of 21 staff. But I am the sole owner of Dulcio Florals and Design.
Mm-hmm.
And then our staff ranges from our administrative staff, our freelancers, and so it varies throughout based on what we're doing contractually. We also have freelancers a lot of freelancers who come and work with us throughout the state. Depending on where we're at in the state, we have different pockets of people whom we lean on to support the work that we're doing.
So, do you only serve clients in Florida, or do you also do events out of state?
We do. We do a lot of events in California, in New York, in Atlanta. We also have the Caribbean that we do, Jamaica, St. Lucia. We do a lot of events out there as well. So we're not just here in South Florida, but we're all over the state and throughout.
So, how were you able, to develop those relationships that help you, to bring your business, internationally?
Yeah, I think what it is putting yourself out there. There's a saying that says closed mouths don't get fed,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I've learned that I have to pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I have to know what seasons are coming up. I have to know what are some of the needs of the industry,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're, excuse me, in tech industry, there's certain periods of the year that are high volume. So I can't contact you during those high volumes.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be preemptive and send you communication before. I
Yeah.
also understand that I might send out 40 communications, but only get response from 10,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But that doesn't deter me from doing that. It just says I have to be vigilant in continuously doing that practice and understanding what my periods are to
Mm-hmm.
do so.
So, tell me, you would consider that you have been an entrepreneur for about how many years now?
18 years.
18 years. So, what were like the hard lessons? What were your failure during those 18 years? And what is like the most rewarding aspect also?
For me, one of what I perceive to be my biggest failure, he may not say so, um, my son,
Mm-hmm.
right? He was my reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also someone, I hyper focus.
Mm-hmm.
When I am on something, I hyper focus on it. And so for a lot of his younger years, my son played a lot of flag football
Mm-hmm.
and sports. I could count up until he was about 12 on one hand how many of his games I had been to because I was working. And when I had my daughter, I said, I cannot, it can't be the same,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that goes along with not being all of it to your business.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hire people. You have to contract out services. And so that was my learning.
Mm-hmm.
That what I perceived to be a failure
Was like the balance that you had to do between
correct
work and family life.
correct
Because at the end of the day, you're doing it for
for
him.
him,
But
but
if
he's
you're not
losing out.
there, if you're not there for him,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. So it motivated me to focus on what is my pricing metrics.
Mm-hmm.
Are my contracts enough to pay people
Mm-hmm.
to do the work that needs to be done and to also reflect the value of the work that I'm putting out there?
Yeah, talking about prices, I always feel like this is one of the most difficult things for
Yes.
business owners
Yes.
to determine the prices because
Yes.
a lot of time we always feel like, oh, we're too expensive.
Yeah.
And then we tend, to want to do like discounts
Yeah.
sometimes when they're not even asking us.
Correct.
And it probably linked to other, traumas that we have.
Yeah.
But for you, how was it? Was it easy for you? Do you feel bad when people are telling you that you're too expensive? How was
I
it for
used
you?
to. 8 years ago, I stopped feeling bad.
All right.
Because what happened 8 years, no, it's 10 years now, because my anniversary's coming up. So 10 years ago, I was gearing up to close my business.
Mhm. Really? Why?
Because I was doing so well in corporate America. I was climbing the ladder really fast. I was very successful.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was climbing that ladder so fast, I was on a track.
Mm-hmm.
My mentors and my executives, I was on this track for C-suite. And I was like, that had been my goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I said, okay, because that is my goal, I can't have this distraction, which is the small business that I'm doing on the weekends, to deter me from that goal. So I said, all right, I'm gonna close my business. What happened was I did my luxury wedding, and it blew my business up
Wow.
in a matter of a week. My contract amount tripled from that one event. And what that said to me was, one, I wasn't charging enough. Two, I wasn't targeting the right audience. I didn't know who my target audience and my target client was.
It's one of the most difficult things I
It
feel
is.
because a lot of time we want to target everybody
And you
not
can't.
everybody is your
It's for
client.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And three, it told me that I could produce on this level without, without failing, because that's what we're all afraid of, failing, right? But what is failure? Failure is an opportunity to succeed again.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what I did. 8 years ago, I stopped playing small. I started telling people, unfortunately, I can't provide you with service. Here's someone that may be able to. However, I won't be able to at this price. Some people said, okay, thank you. While others said, no problem, I can meet that price. Right?
Yeah.
And being scared that we're not going to get business or that we're going to lose business, it's a false sense of failure. It's a false sense of how to do business. And I stopped doing that 10 years ago. I stopped thinking working every weekend was successful. So now annually, I'm not working every weekend. I work maybe twice a month on large scale. When I say large scale, I'm talking large scale events. I do other smaller corporate events during the week, but large scale events twice a month. And so now I'm at a place where I'm again ready to scale up. And so I'm engaging new mentors. I'm learning that there's a mentor for every season, right? And I'm in a different season. And so it's constantly being open to learning, being open to sometimes the things that we do too, we learn, okay, this wasn't the right one for me, but I learned from that and I'm moving on to the next. And so those were huge lessons for me 10 years ago. And I stopped playing small then and saying, oh, I'm just a little, no, this is my business. This is more than just my baby. I'm leaving a legacy behind, and I want everyone who engages with my company to leave feeling impacted.
Yes. Yes. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So tell me, what do you envision for like the future of your company? You're talking about skilling. What do you want to do?
So my vision is to work with the top Fortune 500, 400 companies out there and the top 2% in our, not just in our community, but within our country and internationally. That is my goal. And so now I'm doing the things necessary to get to that goal. And it's a long-term goal, right? It's not something that I expect to happen overnight. However, I'm doing the work now that can present itself to those clientele in order to achieve that.
Perfect. So do you consider yourself to be successful?
I do. I've been blessed enough to have had different levels of success throughout my different careers. My husband says I'm always reinventing myself. And I think when you invest in what it is that you want to do, one, you define success for yourself, right? What is success for me may not be success for the next person. So if you find that success within yourself, outwardly, others will see that success naturally.
Yeah. So what would be three advice that you would give to somebody that is now building their business?
I would say build it correctly. I did not build mine correctly when I first started. I did not focus. Yes, I incorporated. I've always been incorporated. That was it for me, right? Build it correctly. When I say build it correctly, find a scale up cohort. Find a SBA program to help you understand all the things you have to put in place in order for your company to be your company. One of the biggest lessons that happened during COVID for a lot of companies is that they didn't have the administrative infrastructure to get funding. And it was funding that was provided to support and keep those companies afloat during that period of time. It was a very hard period of time. And so do the incorporations, do your taxes. I promise you, there's benefits in doing your taxes.
Yes.
Learn about marketing, right? Learn about setting goals and setting budgets for find out there are so many avenues. You don't have to hire people and have them on a W-2. You can hire them as a contractor, right? There are different avenues of how you can find contractors to help you to support the work that you do. Learn about your industry and what other people are charging, right? Don't guesstimate. That's one of our biggest challenges. Speak to different people. Find networking events. I can't say that enough. Find networking events where you can talk to different professionals. Because while you think, again, this person is from this industry, they might not be able to give you a little nugget, but trust me, because it could be that one person that you met from a different industry that gives you a referral to a great tax accountant, that gives you a referral to
your next big
contract. Yeah. Right? Talk to people, network, go out and have a sip of wine, champagne, or something at a networking event. Don't stand in the corner.
I feel like this is something, especially in the Haitian community, that we underestimate
greatly.
Like the networking opportunity. People don't really see like the value in doing that. While so many other people are like, giving their testimonies about how like just like meeting this person at this event changed everything in their business. And
I was afraid of networking. one, we have this whole concept of sumun, right? Networking is not sumun. Let me start by saying that. But two, I also felt like, what am I going to be talking about? Right? I'm not up on current events. I'm not, So I said, okay, I'm afraid to go out there and talk to these people at these networking events. What do I need to do that? All right, I'm gonna start watching more CNN. I'm gonna start watching. At the time, the sector I was in, we used to watch a lot of the county board meetings and things like that. So that I could have things to talk about, right? If anything, I'm going to talk about my company, right? What it is that I do, what I want to do, where I want to be.
Or you can also talk about yourself because there's other things you
I'm
have
an
like
interesting
different
person.
levels.
Exactly.
You're probably a parent. You can relate to somebody, not necessarily about your business, but this person related to you because you're a mother, just like her, or something like this. So I feel like sometimes we overthink it.
Yes.
And I can understand because we all can be shy sometimes.
Yes.
And then you don't know how to, start the conversation or even maintain the conversation. And sometimes when you're in the networking and then you've been talking to this person and then you don't know how to
break
move,
it off.
to the next person. But at the same time, like you were saying, there's like so much resources also available even for that. For instance, I know that we had a webinar where we were teaching people, like some tips about how to network. When you're at the networking event, how do you present yourself? How do you go from this person to another person? Some little tips that will make you feel more comfortable and more confident also when you're meeting people.
I went to a great networking event where the person hosting it, she's an etiquette coach. And she gave us her name is Erlene Doriscar. And she gave us some great tips on how to enter and exit conversations during networking events. I was like, oh my God, if I didn't come today, I would have never learned this little tip.
You need to give us our contact details.
I will.
We need to. I was actually thinking about bringing like somebody to do etiquette. So business etiquette. I think this is something that we should learn more about.
She taught me how to hold my purse while holding a glass at a network. It was wonderful. But those are the things that you go to, you engage in, you also observe, right?
Also, yeah.
We're learners by trade. Some people are learners by doers. Some people are learning by hands-on or observing. Being in those atmospheres, and I guarantee you when you start going to them, you're going to go to a next one and you might see the next person again.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. And you're building that relationship over time where you're front of mind. So, yeah.
Yeah. Is it the last question? So it was very interesting. I've learned so much while talking to you. Even I didn't know that you did all that. One thing maybe that could benefit somebody else, you also work for like government. You do government contract. So where did you find this information? Was it easy for you, to become like a vendor for the government? So what type of advice that you would give to other business owners that probably don't think that they will qualify, to become vendors for the government locally or...
Yeah, what I started doing was looking at the local municipalities. So I found the county to be the hardest. But I think you guys partnered with them, for the Black Business Week, and then the grant that was out in, I think it was November.
Oh, you're talking about the Miami Foundation?
No, not the Miami Foundation. The county has an office.
Is it like the Office of Economic Development?
Yes, the Office of Economic Development. They had put out a small grant. It was like $5,000 or something like that. But through that grant, just me signing up to get information, they're constantly sending resources and information. So when I saw that, I started engaging with some of the other smaller municipalities, North Miami Beach. I even have some out of Miramar and Broward, and I sign up for their grant websites. And whenever they put out a grant, no matter if it fit me or if I don't fit me, it's in my inbox. I also signed up.
Now, one question, because now a lot of people, they sign up to everything, but they don't read them.
That I don't recommend
so
that.
What is like your strategy? Because I feel like also there's sometimes we're flooded with emails, you know. So how do you prioritize? How do you know? Come see What is like your strategy? Because I feel
So
like a lot of people, they're struggling with that.
yes, because then your inbox get inundated with
Mm-hmm.
things. So what I started doing, I started unsubscribing first to all the things that weren't important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I said, okay, what are the things that I'm subscribed to that will be a benefit to my company
For this season.
for not just for this season, because some of them are year round.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are seasonal, some of them are year round. But also will be for education, for networking.
Mm-hmm.
So for the event side, I get my Biz Bash networking mail. For the state, I signed up for My Florida,
Mm-hmm.
which is where their grant sites, you can, when you go in to sign up for the grant site, you have to choose what types of grants you want to be notified about.
Mm.
Do not sign up for everything
Mm-hmm.
because that's a waste, right?
Yeah.
Don't sign up for what you wish to know about. Sign up for where you are, and then when you're ready to maybe pursue something else, go back and edit your subscription
Mm-hmm.
or what you want to sign up for. So I signed up for that. The local municipalities, you can't be so specific. They send everything
Mm-hmm.
through it. And then recently is like, for me, was February or March, I realized I wanted to work with the Palm Beach School Board.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to one of their webinars and signed up
Mm-hmm.
for their piece. So as you're developing your interests or as you're becoming disinterested, sign up and also unsubscribe to things.
Absolutely.
If you notice there are things that you're getting that you're never reading, do not go on a wish and a hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's not serving you, right? You want to clear that path so that when there is something that should grab your attention,
Mm-hmm.
it does. The other thing that I do is on my calendar, I carve out time to go through those specific messages.
Oh, I think that's like a nugget, guys.
Yes.
Cover time for that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important. Just like you block off time to work on a project,
Mm-hmm.
you at weekly need to block off time, not just to go through your emails and clean it, but to dedicate to saying, okay, these are the subscriptions that I have that I need to see what's in those subscriptions
Mm-hmm.
for this time for me to be aware, right?
Yeah.
Just like you would carve out time for your learning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all need time to focus, and weekly you should be at least finding time to read a book, finding time to educate yourself on one thing, so on and so forth. So these are things that I've kind of learned along the way from different seminars that I've gone to, different mentors that I've had. And, you know, there are times when, to be quite honest, I'm reading right before I go to bed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I know that either I have a heavy week and I have to sacrifice a little bit of that time, which means my whole house is on a schedule. But that's a different conversation for another time.
So are you also like a certified business? I know there's different certification.
Yes. So aside from being, like I said, incorporated, Black owned, woman owned, I'm working on Black woman owned right now.
Is that something that you would recommend to others because you find benefits in it?
Yes.
Mhm.
When it comes to funding, there's huge benefits
All right.
in having that designation. It's not easy. And I've had to lean on support
Mm-hmm.
to get it done. But it's definitely been worth it.
All right.
Yes.
All right. I think that this is another subject also that we would like to cover in another webinar and invite someone from the, I think, Florida Council
Yeah.
for the certification, so people can understand better and see also like what would be the benefits for the benefits for the business.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So my last question for you today would be, how do we find you, Sabine? If anybody wants to use your services, how do they find you online? How do they contact you?
So to find me, you can go to any of my social medias, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, and put in S. Dulcio Designs. On LinkedIn, I am Sabine Dulcio.
Mhm.
You can also go to our website, www.sdulciodesign.com. And at any of those websites, we have our phone number, our email address, info@sdulciodesigns.com. You can reach out at any time for any of the services that we mentioned, and we'd love to be a partner.
All right. I hope that you know that and that you have Sabine, and on top of your head for your next event. So thank you, everyone. And thank you so much, Sabine, for
Thank you,
being with us
Diane.
today. We learned a lot about you, and thank you for so many advice that you gave us today. And we wish you so much more success
Thank
for
you.
your business. Like they say, the sky is the
Yes,
limit.
it is.
And congratulations again for all that you already achieved. Thank you, everyone, for watching us today. And stay tuned for another episode of the Chamber Podcast. See you soon. Bye.